Hi guys, Mr. Rain here and welcome to my Northwest USA Jurassic tutorial. Now, we have starting cash of 4.5 mil, standard and adrenaline guests only, limited herbivores to the smalls, feeders unlocked at 2.5 stars and max 5 emergency shelters. Now those aren't going to pose a problem. What is going to pose a problem is going to be the feeders unlocking at 2.5 stars, but we don't have to worry about that because we're going to feed them live prey, which is exactly the same as the Struthiomimus. They are live prey. So until you get to 2.5 stars, you just got to stock up your pens with the large carnivores with the Struthios. So I've whittled this video down to just over an hour from a monstrous 7 or 7.5 hour gameplay. And but that being said, we're not going to miss out on any of the details or any information about this park and its various limitations, as well as the dual storm effect. There's two storms. You get the shadow storm, the snowstorm, as well as the standard storm. So as you can see right there, we've got our first paddock on the left-hand side, and that is going to be our launching point, making sure we get our amenities in there and our power up and running, and get those Struthios out within the first 5-6 minutes, and try and get us over that initial bump with the crappy starting cash. Now the reason why I have to commentate after I've actually done the recording is that there's just so much skipped footage, so much time trying to sort out sick dinosaurs and figuring out the carnivores cohabitation issue. We're going to get into a large amount of detail on that a bit later, but there's certain things that I do that you just do not have to do, or shouldn't do at least, and I'm going to explain all of that at future. I'm currently talking to the Twitter account for Jurassic World Evolution 2, explaining this issue, and they say regardless if the tab says that they can cohabitate, they just can't. It says certain dinosaurs like other dinosaurs, but it's just not the case, you know, it's like a guideline. There's only two carnivores that I know that can cohabitate, that I've proven myself, the Suchomimus and the Baryonyx, two of my favorites anyway, and those are the only two that I have cohabitating on this map. I do try other ones in all of the paddocks, most of the paddocks, and they just eat each other, but we're going to get into detail on that a bit later. So I've heavily edited this down, like I said, but you're not going to miss any information at all. We're going to get our viewing platform and get our first bit of cash flowing in from our amenities. And I know I said the limitation for the 2.5 stars unlock feeders is an issue, but it's really simple. I mean, you're going to put Struthios in there anyway. You might as well just release a CERATOSAURUS as well. So getting our first hotel down for the first missions that they give you. And from here, we're going to race forward. Again, not missing any details at all. And I'm currently 4.3 stars on the next map, the Southwest USA. Not as difficult as I thought it would be. Just getting to the point now where I'm actually needing appeal, where all these other maps I've done, the appeal is 150, 200% over what you need. Another tip is the species amount that they give you, the targets they give you, you don't have to get those for 5 stars. They are just guidelines. And if you do have certain species lacking, then it's simply an appeal hit. But you have so much appeal anyway because of the Tylosaurus, then there's no need for it. So yeah, even though they say to you, you need this kind of species and you need this many dinosaurs visible, it's just guidelines. You don't actually have to do it. And again, we're going to go into a lot of explanation on that later. So I'm doing the tour right outside the fence because I'm anticipating my next fence being built, or my next paddock being built just next to it. And funnily enough, that paddock is pretty much empty until almost 2.6 stars, when I can actually put in I think it's the Deinonychus I put in there. Yeah, it is the Deinonychus, and I can put the feeders in there as well. So that paddock stays empty for a long time. It was too small for my METRIOCANTHOSAURUS paddock, so I built another one across the way. We will get into that in a second. So power supply is absolutely vital. As you can see, only 3 minutes into the game, and we've got Struthios, or set up Struthio paddock, and the power is something we want to get up as soon as possible because you want to delete the backup generators as they cost you money to fill, and they cost a lot of money to fill is what I should have said. So we're getting our first amenities up here. Now as you can see, the first pathway I've done is a straight shot pathway all the way to the first viewing platform on the left hand side over there. Well, almost straight. But as long as you have a straight path from the arrival point, it does make things a little bit easier. If you have sideways paths going off left and right, then your guests are kind of split up. It would be really cool if you could place a path that is only for staff, like towards your science center or your excavation, your expedition center, that kind of thing. But at the moment, there is no such thing. But Here comes the first power plant. Now down over here is not a bad spot for it. I do put a hotel in that small little gap over there much later. But the power supply over here is going to be fine. He stays there for the entire game. If I do end up moving a building, I would probably just tell you now anyway. But space isn't much of an issue. I do always, or like always, leave a spot on the right hand side over there next to the arrival platform for the monorail. You've got to do that. You've got to have a monorail right at the start. And that's something I just do al naturel right now. So that is good to know. We're going to get the guest attraction. This kind of thing is only really useful near the beginning of the game, because you can only attract 2 types of guests on this one, adventure and standard. And if you have 2 attractions down, then you have to put a different attraction on that attraction. That's a lot of attraction. Otherwise, you're inviting guests that you don't want in there. And if you have the same one down, it just says there's a duplication, and it counts against you. So just put one attraction down, and of course your shelter, your bathroom, and your power supply is going to be deleted the second the power plant is running, as you can see right there. And there we go. It doesn't matter about skittishness. These guys are food, so it does not matter what these guys are like. Better treatment, well, you can take me to court. I didn't really want to lose a scientist now. She's got relatively okay pay for 19 grand. But I think in this one, I just paid it. And thinking about it now, I probably wouldn't. The money is what you want at the start. And there is an influx of money on this. I think it's just before 2.6 stars. Let me have a look over here. Yeah, around that time. But it's happened in every single playthrough of mine to date. It's either a 2 million influx, a couple of 1 millions with some egg sales, and then a 5 million booster, which I don't think I got on this one. It might have been a 2.5, it might have been a 5 million, we'll see a bit later. But we're going with the amenities here. As you can see, 156 potential guests. That is the biggest tip in the entire world I can give with amenities, is the 158. If you look on the bottom left corner as you're placing it, and if you pull the amenity away, change the type to shopping or drink, and then put it back onto the path, it'll give you an updated version. You can see there, 156, 155. 155 is brilliant for a small amenity. Even a medium amenity, I would even put a larger amenity down there. Obviously, you can't now. I'm just saying, hypothetically, if you had a large amenity, 150 guests would be fine. Anything under 100, I wouldn't do for a large. Here we go. The first Struthios are out. And we need to get our recovery center right here. Our HATCHERY, our capture teams. And then the PALEAO. Once you've got the capture and the PALEAO out, you're kind of set for anything that can happen. But it sucks when your dinosaurs get diseased and you don't have either of those. Then that can stump you quite heavily. So the expedition we're going to put somewhere at the beginning, but still keeping enough space above it for the monorail. Absolutely essential. And you will take a hit on your accommodation, or sorry, on your travel rating if you don't have it in a good spot. But in the end, you know, the appeal is not the hard thing to get. It's the profit per minute. That is the killer. Okay, so we've got some platforms going here. Now I think we want the platforms for certain guests, and I do throw a couple in, but the viewing galleries and the gyrospheres are what I use mainly. Or gyrospheres and tours are pretty much the same. Both guests like it, and the fencing is something I want to do all the time so quickly. Once you have researched the 2.5 star concrete fence, when you get there, then the concrete fence, obviously the strongest fence, it doesn't use any electricity, and it reduces your cost per month with the power usage. So we're going to go straight for the Cerato. So having a look at the total length of the video, actually it's under an hour, and I'm stoked for that because it takes too long for YouTube to process it. So here we go. We're going to get cracking on the PALEAO facility, or the recovery centers. We're going to put it over here, kind of facing towards the paddock, and the next paddocks are going to come on the right hand side. It's always good to have them facing that direction because they suck at turning around from the starting point. And we're going to get the PALEAO facility right next to it. And again, kind of in the central location where it's going to have paddocks all around it. And the PALEAOs glitch on me later. This particular one glitches on me, where I can't remove a dinosaur or treat a dinosaur from there. And that stumped me. I had to skip so much footage, and it took way longer than it should have because of the dead dinosaur glitch and the PALEAO glitch. It just kept telling me there were dead dinosaurs, and there just wasn't a single dead dinosaur in the entire park. So the PALEAO glitch and the dead dinosaur glitch set me back quite a long time. So again, I could do this much quicker, but in the end got the 5 stars and not worried about it at all. Here we go. Guest attraction is what I was talking about earlier. Just have the one kind of in the center, near your hotel, near your viewing platforms. Keep it central, as it is a guest building. We're not going to get into the colors, only on our sandbox mode. And there's another tip I can give you is, every time you finish one of these maps, 5 stars, I have a save for like completed Canada and completed Germany. This allows me to go back to those and continue releasing the dinosaurs that I didn't release in the video, and this unlocks them for sandbox. And I'm going to have a video on that as well once I finish the final map after this. Here we go. I always now choose something that will automatically happen with those contracts, like increased profits, don't do increased dinosaurs because it'll ask you for a specific dinosaur. I don't do the photos anymore because it could ask you for a photo of a dinosaur you don't have. I just go for the ones that are automatic. Having a look at the scientists here, we want kind of cheap expeditions and fast expeditions were my favorites on this one. My next map, I've got a cheap expedition and fast expeditions, and they're both stacked up on the logistics skill, and it's so nice just to be able to do that bang bang, both of them every time, and it makes it much easier in the long run. But again, that's just luck if you happen to have them. We're going to go with the innovation center right in the center, Mr. Fenter right there, and we can obviously branch out the pathways to the left and the right and so on. Here we're going to go with the next paddock we're going to build. Now this is going to be for the paddock that's eventually going to have the Deinonychus, but it doesn't have it for a long time because we need to wait for the 2.5 stars and the feeders. Let me skip ahead there. That's pretty much what it is. There we go. We're looking good now. Got a bit of a profit coming in, and we're going to have a look at the amenities. The medium amenities we want to get as soon as possible as well, because literally this is what's going to give you your money. Are the amenities, and of course the amenities are there because of the dinosaurs, and I know there's a rolling effect, but the amenities, as you can see what I do right here, the second I'm able to build a medium amenity, even though it says 44 guests projected over there, I'm still going to build it, because once I delete the other amenity, the small one of the same kind, those are going to skyrocket at least. I'm very unlucky not to get the amenity in that little gap over there, but we go a little bit further back, and I end up pushing that back even further a bit later. But ideally, you want it on the straight line. I definitely could have moved the science center, now that I'm thinking about it, to make space for this area. But as you can see what I'm doing here, I'm building and completing the medium amenities before I delete the other ones, just so it's a complete swap. So as you can see, there's 0 profit, 0 guests. He's going to be deleted, and then straight away, the cheap burgers is going to be filled with guests. And if it isn't, just wait a couple of seconds, literally 5-10 seconds, come back to it, and the stats will even out. Now this is not something I'm going to show the whole time. When it comes to amenities, guys, you just got to look at the navigation map. You got to see where amenities are needed, but don't go with, oh, the path is red, let's put an amenity down. Take out an amenity, put it against the path, look at your projected guests, then decide. On a small amenity, 90 and above, I'll put it down. Medium amenity, you want over 100, and large amenity, I would do over 100 as well, even though it's not going to fill up, but it will fill up in the future. So I'm not going to show the amenities like the previous videos, just something you need to keep track on, and I think I do have a couple of reminders every now and again. Alrighty, let's see what we're going for next. The carnivore cohabitation, that's a reminder for me to talk about that again. It's gonna say, like I said before, that some dinosaurs can live together. I would go with resilience and long-lived at the start, if you can, if they're unlocked, and if you want a gun for those, then do it. But in the end, I put the Allosaurus with the Ceratosaurus, and again, I will touch on this later, but plan your park from now onwards without thinking about cohabitation. Just put a single large dinosaur in each paddock. The only one that I do this with is the Baryonyx and the Suchomimus. Those two seem to love each other, and they're both piscivores, so that's good. But plan your park now with not putting 2 dinosaurs in, even though the tab says that the Ceratosaurus can cohabitate with the Allosaurus. It's not the case. The Allosaurus is a beast, and he's aggressive. So, as you can see, I've got the long-lived, I've got the humble trait, which is awesome. If he's the alpha, that'll be amazing, and long-lived. So, there's a shortage of cash. I think I just did the 2 that had the traits. So that's all good. We'll get a Ceratosaurus in there. That's going to bump our park up as well. We should hit 1 star fairly soon. As you can see, 129k per minute. That's profit, not overall. And I'm going to get into this area up here. We're going to have some sneaky little paddocks. We're going to have a lagoon over here. We're going to have a small little paddock in the U-shaped over here with the Coelophysis. Here we're going to have 3 paddocks with Dilophosaurus, Herrerasaurus, and the Troodon. And again, there's some information about that which you're going to need to hear a bit later, and potentially going with a different dinosaur. Okay, Mr. CERATO, you are released, sir. Sorry, the cat just ran over me, if you heard a noise. There we go. They are awesome. One of my favorites at least, and I can't wait to do videos on all the different skins for all the dinosaurs and stuff like that. It's going to be absolutely awesome. There we go. Park increased 1 star. We will have it straight away. After 1 star has gone, we want to get the wider paths in there ASAP, as well as what else are we going for here? Let me see. Let me get my notes up here. Here we go. Yeah, so extraction capacity is your next thing that you want to get in there after 1 star. The storms now, they're not too bad. The only tip I can give you again with the storms is to not repair your ranger station or power supply or the substations first. Repair everything else, because the second you repair your recovery center or your power supplies, then they go offline. Whereas as you can see now, if your power supply is damaged, it's still actually supplying power. So that's a very good tip, because then you still have access to both of your rangers to repair other things, and then just at the end repair the power supply or the power plants and substations at the end of the storm. Okay, so we've got the wider paths, so we are going to utilize said paths and we're going to make them wider. Only that. Here we go. So do that with all your paths, and we've got some more Ceratosaurus coming out here now. And again, I'm not going to show you the excavation for them and the synthesizing. I'm just going to show the release of them so you know what's cutting. And you're able to watch 10-15 minutes of the video, then do your own thing. It'll give you some future thought as well. So food poisoning was the first time I've had that kind of sabotage. But again, if you accept 5 million or accept 2 million, and it's as quick as driving over there and sorting it out. You don't even have to do it yourself. That's how quick it'll be. Okay. Almost 1.5 stars. We're at now 465 per minute. Is absolutely awesome. Now we need to start thinking bigger after that guy's been treated. So Deinonychus, again, I massively failed on this. For some reason I just forgot that there were no feeders, so I actually released a batch of these guys, and I had to try and sell them straight away. I'm pretty sure I didn't make a profit on it. But do not release any small carnivores until you have the 2.5 stars and the carnivore feeders. And I think I do show a clip of it. But having a look at some amenities, as you can see, 97 projected guest is a little bit low for a medium amenity. But looks like I went with it anyway. And I didn't have problems with the amenities on this run. They were all earning profit all the time. So the fact that I did that there, it ended up being the correct way to go. Scientist-wise, on the next map, the scientists are crazy. You have to fire like 90% of them because they're all sitting on 70,000k. But I'm going to have that video up hopefully by Friday. Got a lot of share plays to do in between. If you're having trouble with any game at all, guys, including this game, you can email me from the description. I do share plays as part of my full-time job, and I've helped hundreds of people with thousands of trophies to date, so email me if you want to. Okay, here we go. We're doing the Metriocanth paddock. We're going to come down there. We're going to go all the way down the bottom. We're going to block off this little area on the right because we're not going to go through there. We can do wires and stuff through there. And I do another paddock over here. Not the Metriocanth. This is the PALEAO, the DRACOREX paddock. As you can see, it's much smaller, which is fine. He's going to be on there or in there on his own. The DRACOREX. I do expand that paddock a little bit further, pretty much to where the sand is, leaving enough space for amenities and the pathways and stuff, and the Metriocanth paddock next to that. Okay, somebody's treated. We got 1,400 appeal on that one. That's pretty good. Something I always forgot to do was the photos. If you go to, I'm actually expanding it now. Yeah, if you go to this over here and you click to the right, on the bottom left corner, you see there's a photo. You can add photo points. And I haven't actually seen what it does. I mean, it can only be good, costing you $1,000 each time, which is nothing, but I don't know how it benefits your ride. It must increase the appeal rating of that specific viewing gallery, or that gyrosphere, sorry. Okay, let's go on. We've got 330,000 now. We've gone down slightly. It's okay, we're still at 2.5. Now we're going to hit summary mode again, guys. That's a reminder that I'm not going to show everything. I'm just going to show the new things I do. And this way it greatly reduces the video, but without losing any of the information that I want to tell you guys. And then we're going to go to super summary mode a bit later, and that's going to be like the bare essentials. And there's just literally, there's hours in between of treating dinosaurs and releasing more of the same type of dinosaurs. So I kind of just say, you know, fill your paddocks up with the dinosaurs you've got to the point where they're not going to get antsy with other and start fighting. But that's the best way of doing this, I feel. I know the first videos were hours long, but this one is going to be much shorter. I'm very excited to see how it pans out. Because as you can see there, we've got the monorail up and running. And I've got a nice little cool trick that I started doing with the monorail when you want to expand it a bit later. And we will get into that soon. So we're going to go for guest attraction modules. Not sure why I researched that, to be completely honest, guys. I don't ever change the attraction module. Or maybe I just forgot. Because we have 2 specific guests, and I probably forgot to change that now that I think about it. So here's my mess up. Deinonychus is not meant to be in this paddock. They're not meant to be in the park yet. So pause the game. If you happen to do this, you probably won't. And delete them all, or capture them and sell them, because they're going to go into the next paddock once we reach 2.5 stars. Yeah, so that was a massive fail. Ignore that. And yeah, the guest attraction module, if you do that, then maybe go and change the guest attraction, like I didn't do. So here is the DRACOREX, I think he is. He's going to be on his own. And of course, we don't have trouble with feeding the herbivores, because that's just ground foliage. And he's going to go into the paddock just to the top. The small one I built a bit earlier. Oh, we're looking at a lagoon already. We want them lagoons. The hatchery bay is something I definitely do, because you only have one for this entire area. Well, I only have one for this entire area. And there's a lot of transporting dinosaurs. And I think that might have something to do with why I wasn't able to retrieve that sick guy, because they were all busy transferring the Compsognathus to various paddocks. So large hotel is on the list as well to do. I'm having a look at the beginning. Just another reminder for myself and to tell you guys, keep going back to the amenities. As you can see, there's only 100 guests, so a small amenity is not a bad idea in that area. And I think he does make a profit up until the end of the game, so that's good. Let's give these scientists some rest right here. Okay, what are we doing next? We're looking at the METRIOCANTH. So we're going to have a look at this genome. Hardly anything unlocked. You can see I left everything on humble or tolerance. And he's going to go into a paddock on his own. Except obviously his live prey, which is the Orneo. Or the Gallimimus, I think he is. I'm not actually sure if it's a Galli or the Struthio. It's probably the Struthio. And this is going to be the building of the METRIOCANTHOSAURUS paddock. Again, on his own. No other dinosaurs with him. No other carnivores with him, at least. And look at that perfectness right there. There it is. And again, at this stage, you want to add your fence, or sorry, your gate. You want to do your amenities. You want to do the tour ride or the gyrosphere. Add the photos along that route as well. Add amenities where necessary. And again, I'm not going to spoon feed at this stage of the game. If you're doing this on Jurassic difficulty, I'm pretty sure you know what you're doing by now. But just some key features that, key tips I can give as well. Firstly, the don't cohabitate dinosaurs. I'm not doing that again. I'm actually trying that right now in my other gameplay. But I'm going to stop that and try something different. Do them all separately. That Southwest USA is very difficult because there's hardly any space and they're all quite far apart. So that video is going to be up as soon as humanly possible. And keeping it in mind with the disease, it's always good to have a look at what you need to do to unlock disease. Sometimes it can be very easy, because if you research that disease up until the inoculation, which is the last section of that research, then they'll never get sick again from that specific disease or that ailment. And that's very useful, especially if you do it earlier game, then you won't be spending a lot of time healing your dinosaurs. So the DRACOREX here now, we want to go with the tolerance trait, willing to overlap with other of his same species, and without fighting, but they do fight, they always fight. So we're going to go long-lived and tolerance on the DRACOREX, and we're going to get him incubating to go to his singular paddock that we built earlier. I think I'll wait too long to do the amenities there, because there's so much to do. But here we go, no negative ailments, we're just going to select them all. 1.7 million. They got cosmic and a couple of positive traits, and that's pretty good. We're going to do that straight away. And again, in my head I'm going, okay, good, one more species down, but it's just, it doesn't work like that. You don't need the species target that they tell you It's all about just having the profit per minute in the end and the appeal. And the appeal, I think I have 217% appeal or 170%, I'm not sure. And that's just because of the Tylosaurus. The Tylosaurus is a game changer. I left that little glitch in there on the recording because I'm actually talking with the 4K capture help desk, the Elgato help desk, and they're going to send me a brand new card because they can't figure out why my recording is having those glitches. It takes so much longer editing out every time that happens. It sucks. So I thought I'd leave that one in there and give an explanation. As you can see, 86 or 66, I can't see on here. Either way, it's too small for a medium amenity, so we're not going to do that right now. 2 stars. There we go. Bring it on. Again, much shorter video, only about 35-40 minutes left, less than that. And we're going to show you exactly what I did to get my 5 starters in the end. So the what you want to do now is the carnivore paths is what I'm reading here. So the aim here is to get to the Indominus Rex at the end. And thinking about that now, I mean, I only didn't need that because I couldn't put any more Tylosaurus in the lagoon. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done that. But he has a 1,850 or 1,800 appeal. And he counts as pretty much just over one of the Tylosaurus appeals. As you can see here, I'm not going to show it again, but research these paths, research the Suchomimus, research the Baryonyx right there, and research all the way to the end. And again, I'm not going to show it every time, but this is the path that I'm researching now to get to those larger carnivores because they cannot cohabitate, except for Baryonyx and Suchomimus, obviously. But yes, Piscivores is next. That is what we're going to be doing, and that is the path we're going to be searching now. Or researching, should I say. Okay, the Plesiosaurus. I think he was Plesio or Plasmosaurus. Yeah, Plasmosaurus. So what this guy does, he's a small marine animal, which means the Tylosaurus is going to eat him, but it's fine. The Tylosaurus is still a bit further away. It's good to get the Plesies going and research them and excavate for them in preparation for your lagoon. So over here, like I said before, I've got 3 little paddocks there. We've got a big lagoon over here and a small paddock over here for the Coeliophysis. Now, I'm going to skip ahead because the lagoon can be a BH to build. I think I do 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 slots right there. That is my lagoon. And he is good enough for at least 3 or 4, maybe even 5 Tylosaurus, which is more than enough that you need. The appeal rating is an easy target to get. So we're going to keep the hatchery down the side over here because the other side we want to keep for amenities and viewing platforms. And we'll touch on the marine viewing gallery in a second if it's necessary or not. I'll always do it anyway. It seems like the right thing to do. Okay, so once we've got this up and running, we're going to put a paleo and recovery center right next to it. There we go, 2-point-something stars. We'd already had that. So again, I just choose a contract that is just going to automatically happen for me. That requires 0 attention. So over here, we're going to put the recovery center. I'm just going to call it a ranger station from now on. Ranger station as well as the Paleo Medical. Now the Paleo Medical is quite a big building. But put the Paleo Medical and the ranger station right next, you can see up top there, right next to the hatchery, because the Tylosaurus and the other guys, they're just sick all the time and they have injuries and they need their own dedicated support group, if you will. So having a look at the power supply, again in the map that I'm playing now in the Southwest USA, I thought I would try the power extenders instead of using the substations, and they just don't have a good enough reach. You have to build like 3 or 4, whereas you could build 1 cable and then a substation for your power, and I don't use them at all anymore. I just use the substations. I don't care about the electrical wires. I want to be able to get to a further distance. You kind of have to daisy chain them, so the one has to touch the other one in its area, whereas the substation go over a long distance because of the cables. Okay, so here we go. We've got the monorail up, and again, this is my little trick with the monorail. Now I know I'm going to attach it over there, but do not do it yet. Do not break the monorail that's already going. Do this. Build a monorail where you know it's going to attach to the next one. Excuse me. And I will show you what I do at the end. You just got to wait for this to build, because if you attach that now, you can have 10 minutes, 15 minutes of 0 transport rating, and that's going to take a knock to your profits. So I like to do a massive zigzag within the lagoon, so we can get some viewing platform or some viewing over there. Over here we've got 3 paddocks. Again, we're going to make sure we get across all of those as increase the viewing stat. over here. Now the viewing gallery, this is the marine viewing gallery. That's a 2.5 million to research, but you can use standard viewing galleries and viewing platforms. Now, I can't figure out what the difference is, but I've researched the marine viewing gallery every time, and it's worked for me. As you can see here, I'm putting a platform just for that little corner, and he's going to make up for that little gap at the end over there. But you can use normal viewing galleries, like I said, but I just went with this one and put the marine viewing galleries in there anyway. So this is my little trick with the monorail system. Now that the other rail is completely built that I did earlier, now we're going to pause the game. We're going to delete a couple of tracks over here and just add in what we need. Doing this will significantly reduce the amount of time that your transport rating is taking a hit while they are building. So all it is bang there and over there. And attach this and that, and you got less than 15 seconds or whatever it is, and that'll be good as gold. So that's something I do every time now as well, just to help with everything really. Okay, so we are going for the baryonyx, it looks like over there. This stage of the game, we're getting quite late into it. As you can see, it's just under 2 stars, and that's going to shoot up the second we get our Tylosaurus and the Plasmasaurus in there as well. I'm not sure if it was the PALEAO or the Plasma, I'm not sure. But the Mejangosaurus over there, it's something I wanted to cohabitate with that one over there. I'm going to call him the Quanzosaurus because I don't know how to pronounce that. It says in the description on their tab that they can cohabitate. They are friendly with each other. This is not the case. The second I dropped them in there, they were fighting and they're killing each other straight away. So again, the species tab you don't have to worry about. This is the METRIOCANTH in his paddock. Absolutely awesome looking guy. But yeah, do not cohabitate the carnivores, except, again, I know I'm repeating myself, the baryonyx and the suchomimus, they live happily ever after together. So here we go. It's the Plesiosaurus. He's one of my favorites. I do like the Attenborosaurus, but he's very expensive. So again, you want to go with the cohabitation, or not even the cohabitation, the tolerance and resilience, because they're pretty much food. They're going to get eaten, but they are going to definitely serve their purpose because they're not all going to get eaten. You're going to have some guys in there until the end of the game. Some of them will get eaten, some of them will not. Okay, looks like we're adding some Deinonychus into that one pen. Oh no, sorry, that was the DRACOREX, because we don't have the feeders until 2.5 stars. No worries there. Here we go, the Plessies. Plessio's, should I say. These guys will increase the appeal for this area, so then we can do amenities over here on the side, and I'll show that in a second. You don't have to worry about the spacing of these guys because they'll survive in pretty much one unit of the lagoon, and use osmosis through the pillar there. That's fine, but you don't have to worry about these guys. They look absolutely amazing, don't they? Love them to bits, and they have more than enough space. But like I said, now we need to do amenities up top there next to it. Well, I'll show you that in a second. So over here is the DRACOREX pen. We've got the viewing gallery right there. I put in an extra one, so it's got the Jurassic tour, the gyrosphere, as well as the viewing gallery. And over here, I think a storm's about to hit, but over here you want to build your amenities now. If you look at the projected guests on the bottom left corner of the screen now, you will see it is time to get some medium amenities in here. And that's going to be, let's see where it shows me. I know we're going to go do the storm first. And there we go. So this storm is awesome because all the snowstorm does is stop your rangers from working. But there's no need to go into this because it's the best storm to have. Nothing's going to get affected at all. So there we go. Occasionally there'll be some sick dinos afterwards, but I didn't have any issues with the snowstorm. You do get the other storms, just no hurricanes. Okay, so back to these amenities. Like I was saying before, if you look at the projected guests on the bottom left-hand corner, you're looking at almost 200. So get those amenities down there. Make sure you do the food, the drink, as well as the shopping. I'm not going to show it, no need to. But place them where they're going to get the most amount of guests. And this is going to be the main income for you throughout the entire game, obviously, is the amenities. But you have to get them attracted there with dinosaurs. And, of course, it trickles. So here we go. We've grown a bit of percentage there, which is always good to see, knowing that you're doing something right. Let's see what we're doing now. We're going to go with the strong wall. And we're going to do our small little, I think it's Coelophysis I put in here. I'm not sure which small dino I put in here, small carnivore. But this tiny little paddock is more than enough for them. As you will see, they live in there in perfect harmony. I do accidentally put the Compsognathus, excuse me, the Compsognathus in there as well, but that didn't go down well at all. So just one small dino in there, not the Herrerasaurus. I'll get into more detail on that. They need a bit of a bigger area. And the Compsognathus, they can go into any of the carnivore paddocks that you put in. I had a massive issue with lagging on this. I've also been speaking to Jurassic World Twitter, some help guy on there, and the lagging gets to a point where I couldn't play the game anymore. Literally, I couldn't go into my view, my satellite view, and move to the top of the park. It just froze, and then it moved like half an inch every second or every 10 seconds or something. It was absolutely terrible. And you think playing on a PS5 that kind of shit would be a thing of the past. But I eventually just stopped going into satellite mode, this mode, and I just stayed in normal mode. It doesn't seem to like it. Okay, so here we go. We're going with the next paddock. And we're going to go right across over here, across the whole thing. And I'm not going to show you me building the entire thing. I'm going to skip ahead now and show you the end result. Now, if you look at these three paddocks from left to right, I make 3 out of this one. So the one on the far left, I do 2 small. Or I put the larger of the small carnivores in there. So I put the Herrerasaurus on the left-hand side over there, and I end up expanding that paddock down towards the monorail and even a bit further towards the paths. The middle paddock is the perfect size for the Dilophosaurus. They live happily in there, no problem. And on the right-hand side over here, I put the Troodon, and he's also a smaller carnivore, and they have no problem there. It's just the Herrerasaurus on the far left. I will put the Herrerasaurus in the middle now, and the Dilophosaurus on the far left, just with a fewer number of them. So there is the paddock I just built right there. Give you a bit of an overview. We've got the we've got the tour rides in there, the gyrosphere. You want to make sure that goes to 10. Make sure you have 10 vehicles available in there. It just caters for more peoples. Okay, so we're looking good now. We've got the Tylosaurus we've been excavating for, and we're going to see what kind of genomes we can change on him. And I think I just put that in there as like it's coming. So Tylosaurus is going to be in the America right there, and he's going to cost a fair amount to excavate for, expedition for, but you don't have to do, I think, maybe twice or max 3 times on one of them, and you'll get him 100%. That's just the way they've scripted this map. So at this point, again, guys, all the time be going through your amenities, making sure they're getting profits, making sure if you add more amenity modules that it's increasing your profits, and keep track of them, keep checking on them as much as you can. So the Compsognathus I put in there as a reminder. Just do 1 batch. I kind of went overboard even on the first paddock, and I released like 3 or 4 batches. I had like only 25 of these Compsognathus, but it's not a good idea. Keep it down to like 1 batch. Keep it down to like 12 or maybe 15 Compsognathus with any large dinosaur, large carnivore, because it just gets too much and it messes with the ranger teams and it messes with some of the cohabitation. But just don't do as many as I do in this. You don't need it at all. I mean, you've released the species, and the appeal that they give is next to nothing. So there's no need to go overboard. This is what I was saying before. I just put this clip in here. Keep track of your amenities. Make sure you go back to them all the time. They are your lifeblood. Unfortunately, it should just be called amenity management, this game. But it is your lifeblood, unfortunately, and that is where the majority of your income is going to come from. Okay, Compsognathus. And we're going to do another batch straight away. And I was thinking at this point, okay, let's just pump out concept. Let's do it. Put as many as we can in this paddock. But don't. First of all, once you get to 2.5 stars, which we still haven't got to in this video yet, we want to take out all of the Struthiomimus from the paddocks that they are being used for food, because they will make a hit on your welfare because they're not comfortable. And it's a good idea once you get the feeders to remove the Struthios. I don't do it, but it's something I thought about afterwards. And if you want to do cohabitation with other dinosaurs, then they're just going to pose a problem because there's going to be too many dinos in one paddock. But yeah, advice to take away the Struthios once you get the feeders. Okay, so we've got 2.5 stars. As you can see on the bottom right corner, we're coming up to 3 stars. This is why I can do these smaller dinosaurs now, because I have the feeders. So we're going to release the Coeliophysis in that small, you can see that lag there, it's insane. And that's not even half of it. So Dilophosaurus and the Coeliophysis, now that we have the feeders, these guys can all come out, and my park jumps up in rating because of it. And again, there's lots of footage I've edited out, guys, like checking on amenities and making sure everything's tip-top, filling up the dinosaur paddocks where we can, putting more dinos in. I'm just showing the bare essentials of what was happening in here. So there is the DILOPHOSAURUS in the middle, and they are happy in there. They need forest and live prey and food as well. So that is good. We've got some amenities going there next to the PALEAOs. As we mentioned earlier, those are getting nice profits. Let's see what we're doing now. We want to go and... Is it time for Tylosaur? Oh yeah. So this is very important. Don't worry about the aggressive trait. Don't worry about it. Release them, because they're not going to eat each other. All they're going to do is eat other species, and they were going to eat other species anyway. They got the social and the humble trait on that guy, but he's aggressive. It's totally fine. Release as many aggressors as you like into one. And there we go, 3-star rating, guys. Woohoo! Let's see what we do next. There's not a lot of information I've got here. All I've got on the 3 stars is the large amenities, additional modules, and then the Compsognathus, which we've done already, Suchomimus and Majungasaurus, which I do incubate, but I decide against them in the end. So as you can see there, ticket sales are fine. Only the 2 guests we have, General and Adventure. So everything should be pointing towards those. But the amenities do that kind of automatically. So as in, you can select them. And it makes it a lot easier just dealing with 2 types. So over here is the Herrerasaurus I put in here, guys. You can do it, but don't put anywhere near as many as I do, because as they landed, I was like, oh no, they're slightly bigger, almost the size of Velociraptor, really. And I was thinking they were going to be the small ones, like the Compsognathus, but they are kind of the same size as the Dilophosaurus. But he even mentions when you release them that they need more TLC than most dinosaurs. So I was like, nah. As you can see there, I increased the paddock all the way there behind the monorail, even to the right of the monorail over there, trying to make up for the lack of space. And all I did in the end was sell 1 or 2 of them, and your space will be fine. So over here, we've got the Troodon. Now, I said I would talk about this earlier. These guys, they're cool and everything, but when they have a normal scrap between, like normal dinosaurs have a scrap, they end up being poisoned. So they are an extra effort to have the Troodons in your park because of the poisonous effect that they have even on each other. Again, not something I would do unless I was forced to. Maybe I could have put a different dinosaur in there with bigger appeal. Maybe one of the smaller herbivores, the Homocephaly, I think maybe. I didn't do. So it's your choice whether or not you want to do this, but just know that they are going to be constantly needing attention. And again, this is why I had so much footage deleted, because it was just tailing to their needs and to their sickness and illnesses. So that's up to you. So here we have another PALEAO batch coming out, or being incubated. The PALEAOs just keep doing it. Every time you release a Tylosaurus, wait for it to form its territory and then have a look at the stats. If you've got a large space between the uncomfortable and comfortable, you can release another one, then release another one, do it all the way up until the point where they're going to be uncomfortable, and then potentially just sell one, or just predict when it's going to be uncomfortable. So keep an eye on the Tylosaurus. He is your biggest appeal rating, hands down. As you can see, I released 2 there. Now you're going to see the stars jump up a bit there. Jumped up quite a bit. So keep an eye on them. Make sure, as you can see here, he hasn't got his... he's got 71% comfortable. So if I had to release another one now, that would go into the red. I know he's not finished looking around, but that's just hypothetically. If you're sitting on that, once he's formed his territory, don't release another one. You want the area and the open space to be maxed out. And again, I'm fast forwarding here to see what he does. But even now at 85%, you could release another one. 92, definitely release another one. Anything above that, release more. And you'll be able to tell in advance when they start getting irate with each other. And that is pretty much the final appeal guy. We've got a couple more carnivores we're going to release up top. And you can see he's eaten one straight away. But the PALEAO has definitely played its part in this. So here we go, guys, the super summary mode. This means I'm going to go down to the bare essentials of what I did. I built a massive paddock here, and I divide it into 4. And then near the end, I take that down to 3. As you can see here, we've got 4 coming in. Now, on the right-hand side, top right, I have the cohabitation dinosaurs, which is what you're not going to do. And I'll explain that a bit later. And the bottom left-hand corner now, I've got the Suchomimus and Baryonyx. And up here, I delete this middle fence and have one big paddock for the Indominus Rex. And I came back after I got 5 stars and released the Indoraptor, so I can do the sandbox mode. So the Majungasaurus right here is the one that I wanted to put with the Quasasaurus. Again, I'm just saying Quasasaurus, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And they just eat each other. Don't do it. Do not release large carnivores. I know it sounds like a stuck record, but do not release large carnivores together. They will just eat each other regardless if the tab on them says that they can actually cohabitate. So there was a bit of a space issue up here, but I moved a lot of our buildings around. I got the monorail up there, which is vital. And I got some amenities in there, and I actually moved the recovery center ranger station a bit closer. As you can see here, I'm doing the same trick as before. Building the monorail and then only deleting the track. As you can see, it's being built. Now, this ranger station down here, it takes them a long time to get up this hill. And I eventually do move that ranger station up to the top right-hand side where my new paddocks are. But it's not really necessary because hopefully you're not going to release dinosaurs that are going to cohabitate and start eating each other, because that's the mistake I made. So again, just keep on releasing the Tylosaurus until this lagoon is maxed out. This is key to any map, not just this map. And make sure you have the max amount you can in there. As you can see, we've upgraded to the luxury paths, and we're just going to do all the paths. Again, we don't really, I think we have normal and adventure guests, so the luxury paths are just, I don't even know why I did it. Not really necessary. As you can see on the left hand side there's just poison all the time in the Troodon paddock. Always something going on over there. Then we're going to put a hotel up here, and we're going to squeeze in some amenities, because that is where the moolah comes from. We put the hotel smack bang right there. And I think I still do move a couple of buildings around so we can get two medium amenities in there. But over here we've got the Mojongosaurus. And this is the only dinosaur I would release into this paddock now. Like I said before, many times before, I tried to release the Quasasaurus in there, and they just ate each other straight away. So just stick with the one type of dinosaur in each of these paddocks, and the species penalty will be absolutely destroyed by the Tylosaurus and then the Indominus Rex at the end. So don't worry about trying to find dinosaurs that can cohabitate. It's just a mission and a bitch, and I spent hours sorting these guys out, trying to figure out why they weren't cohabitating. But in the end, just leave the one type in there. And I think I do show a couple of deaths. But yeah, stick with one dino in there and you should be a-okay. I think it's time to get our Baryonyx and our Suchomimus. And they're the only ones, like I mentioned, that they can actually cohabitate. So here comes the Quasisaur now. I'm going to call him that. And they just walked up to each other straight away and just killed each other. So if you look on the cohabitation tab, it says the Struthiomimus and the Ceratosaurus. That is because the hatchery they came from is attached to that paddock. It does not mean that they're here. It'll go away in a couple of seconds. Let's see. It's just because the hatchery itself is attached to the paddock with the Ceratosaurus. There it is. It's gone now. So as you can see here, absolutely fine. No issues at all. Can live with the Mojongosaurus. It's there in the tab. But liars! This is not the case, guys. They will eat each other endlessly. And I thought I'd just show that clip just to make sure you guys don't make the same mistake. You know, the Tylosauruses love to get sick as well. Okay, let's see what's next. This is way further again, like I mentioned before. I spent so much time trying to sort out the Troodon and these guys with their deaths. And I had to skip so much footage to get to this point where I can actually show something useful, that is. So we are fast forwarding big time here. And on the left hand side we were waiting for our Suchomimus and Baryonyx, and eventually we'll get to the Indominus Rex, which is a $10 million research project. We're going to get we put a ranger station up top there. We moved it from the bottom of the hill to the top of the hill. And again, this was because of the amount of look at that lag. I kept this in here for that lag. Look at that. That's insane. Is this a PS5 or PS1? It's crazy. Anyway, glad to have it. There we go. 4 stars increased. We are getting there. Not much longer left. Again, the last hour and a half of this I put down into like 5 minutes because there's just no need to show it. So there we go. We have Baryonyx, Suchomimus living happily ever after in the same paddock. As you can see right there, they are happy. My favorite 2 dinosaurs easily. Although, to be honest, I haven't seen the last ones yet. So we will have a look. There we go. We're coming up to 5 stars. 1.7, that's total profit per minute. So it'll be less than half of that was actually what I'm getting. And again, all I want to do is select a contract that is going to be automatically done for me. And as you can see, I never got to the inoculations. But if you're going for 100% on the game, you have to go back to each one of these maps and research everything. Go to every dig site, release every dinosaur, get all their genomes. That's currently what I'm doing. So I moved the hotel down there, and I moved the ranger station up there. Got 2 amenities in right there. Again, this is a long time passing. As you can see, we will start getting a profit over there as well, and that's what's going to pop us over, because these large dinosaurs, along with this fella, are going to be very appealing to guests. So as you can see here, we need 100% of the... I thought I was going for the Indo at the time, but stick with the Indominus. I only released the Indo when I come back to this park after 5 stars. But you need 100% of the Tyrannosaurus genome to unlock the Indominus Rex, as you can see there. Now the Indominus is going to be more appealing than the Spinosaurus by about 200, I think it is, something like that. But I went with the Indominus in the end. So this is the Allosaurus being released into the Ceratosaurus pen. This is the first paddock I built. Now, as you can see over here, if you look on his cohabitation tab, it says that he likes to live with the Ceratosaurus. And again, this is just not true. The Allosaurus is a beast of an aggressive machine, and he eats all of the Ceratosaurus within 15 minutes of being in here. And then I decided, okay, well, let's just release the Allosaurus in there. His appeal is more, and it's a new dinosaur, and the Ceratosaurus was gone in the end. Okay, so having a look at this, we're looking at the 89% appeal. Once we release the Indominus, that's going to be done. Tylosaurus, you can release more of those to increase that easily. But we are sitting pretty now, and we're just waiting for the end. And again, I'm going to skip a lot of footage of me trying to deal with dead dinosaurs and dinosaurs attacking. So at this stage, I realized I didn't need to put 2 more dinosaurs, species in here, because the species penalty doesn't even affect you at this stage. What I'm going to do is put the Indominus Rex over there in one large paddock. Oh, that lagging, man. And as you see over here, we're going to have a look at the, I think it is the Indominus, which we haven't researched yet. I was busy at this point looking at the Indoraptor, which is just not needed. You don't need the Indoraptor, and it's something like 20 million or something like that as well, whereas the Indominus is half that. We're going to put the Indominus Rex over here. So as you can see, I looked at the Indoraptor, trying to see what he likes and dislikes, but this is not needed because, like I mentioned, the Indominus is going to be the one in here, and we've got 2 tours coming through this back one. And I tried to put in a second Indominus Rex as well, but the area was not big enough, and I couldn't do it. So as you can see here, this is my first paddock. The Allosaurus is just destroying the Ceratosaurus, regardless. I show it now as well. If you look at the cohabitation tab, there it is. Likes it. Likes the Ceratosaur. So why? Alrighty, so we're coming down to the end of the game now, guys. Or end of the map, while he has a good feast on my Ceratosaurus. Let's have a look at what we're doing here. We're going for the Indominus Rex, the Allosaurus. We're going to keep releasing into that same paddock. Let's have a look down here. Tyrannosaurus is now full on the genome, which means we can research the Indominus Rex. That's going to be a cool 10 million. So 5 million, 10 million difference between Spinosaurus and Indominus. I thought, okay, well, I haven't released an Indominus Rex in this game yet, I don't think. Maybe on one of the campaign missions I did. But I wanted to see him green anyway. Oh, this is my glitching PALEAO facility. He's treated, he's ready to go. I push click over there, nothing. Doesn't remove from the PALEAO facility. That thing is dead. And the one at the bottom of the heel as well. I can't move those guys. And the other PALEAO facility, not this one, the one on the top right corner, that is also glitched. And there's no dinosaur in that one, but it says that there is a dinosaur in there. So this again, just a quick note. At this stage of the game, you want to max out the dinosaurs that you can in each paddock, being sure not to overpopulate them, but if you can put more dinosaurs in, do that. At the same time, pause the game, go through every single one of your amenities, make sure they're getting the max profit at this stage, because coming down to the end of the game, you're going to be 10, 15, 50,000 short, and that's all you're going to need is one little bump in one amenity, and your park's going to be 5-star. So that PALEAO facility over there was glitching. So again, over here, have a look at the area, and save your game every time before you put a dinosaur into a paddock. As you can see here, just the Quasis in there now. No other Bajongosaurus in there. They all just died. So let's have a look now. I think this is it. Yeah, this is the time when I actually have enough scientist skill to actually research the Indominus Rex. And once you've researched him, there's no fossil searching or expeditions because he's a hybrid. He gets created in the lab. And once you spend the 10 million on him, then it'll just cost you $1 million or something to release. But I thought I would show that because that's, oh, the dead dinosaur glitch as well. I got this continuously for the last 2 hours of the game. Dead dinosaur, every 15 seconds, dead dinosaur. And there is not a single dead dinosaur in the entire area. Nasty glitch. So here comes the Indominus. We're going to plonk him down into this paddock. And he's going to be very comfortable. I thought it would be too small. But if you look at the needs of the dinosaurs before you incubate them, their needs on all the areas are low. Which means it's going to make it a bit easier to make smaller paddocks. As you can see here, once he's formed his territory, as you can see, the cohabitation icon is there again, just because of the location of the hatchery. So again, like I was saying before, make sure you check your amenities, and before you know it, challenge done, and we're dusted. So we're going to take a quick look at the stats screen. It's not really necessary because I just show that the species target is still 5 or 6 away from the species target. Still managed to get 5 stars. And as you can see, the appeal is way over. I know it doesn't say 5 stars there. This clip is taken a couple minutes afterwards. But that is it, guys. And I really hope you enjoyed how short this video was. And I really hope you are able to get these 5 stars done and dusted. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed the content. It took a long time to create the video. Show some love, smash that like button for me, and subscribe if you're really enjoying the channel. If you have any questions at all, just ask me, guys. I've got a free Discord group as well for members. It's a lot easier for me to help you when I can share pictures, as well as just general chatting, as I don't always get notifications from YouTube of people asking questions. So that is it eventually, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching, and I want to catch you on the next one.